Yo, what is good, everybody? It's your boy Golden Falls, Golden What If, whatever you want to call me. And I'm back. And I'm back with a brand new What If. What if Deku was the Avatar? A little heads up, if you don't like fan fiction, and I do fan fiction here and there, I really enjoy kind of making my own story building around characters that are part of My Hero Academia, but not necessarily go by the canon of My Hero Academia. If you don't enjoy that, this might not be the video for you. But if you do enjoy and you just want to watch the What If, hang around, watch the What If. This will all be based off of the support that this will give, because obviously I can do whatever I truly want with this series, and you'll see very soon why that's the case. But yeah, with all that said, I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Check all the links in the description below, and that's about it. And now let's get right into what if Deku was the Avatar. Let's get it. In the My Hero Academia universe, this world is different. Everybody in this universe may have superpowers, but these superpowers were known as quirks, physical abilities that were changing and developing. But these quirks were quickly sectioned off into various different versions of, you could say, nations. You had the Earth Nation, the Water Nation, the Fire Nation, and the Air Nation. All of them lived in harmony for a long time. Went to school together, enjoyed life together, played games together. These were all just normal things these people would do. And there were 4 boys that looked up to all of these nations, all from different types of nations, all from nations that many would say wouldn't be the best idea to conflict with, but each from all the nations enjoyed being around each other. They were friends. They lived in harmony. Kirishima, part of the Earth Nation. Izuku Midoriya, part of the Air Nation. Katsuki Bakugo, part of the Water Nation. And Shoto Todoroki, the Prince of the Fire Nation. They all just lived together very calmly. They were all friends. They would go to school together, hang out together, and do everything together. They were so close that they would begin training, learning, and various other things, but all of this began to crumble when they were at the age of 12, when Izuku was revealed to be the Avatar. The Avatar, the one that had 4 quirks, that would have a quirk similar to the one of the Earth Nation, a quirk similar to the one of the Fire Nation, and a quirk similar to one of the Water Nation. Shoto didn't see this as a problem by any means, but his father, the king of the Fire Nation by the name of Endeavor, saw this as a problem. Shoto was the one that was talented, was powerful, but now it comes to fruition that he's not the Avatar. That this boy was deemed the Avatar, and he would be the one that could control all 4 elements, all 4 quirks. Izuku didn't know how to take this, and Shoto was dragged away from their group, taken away out of the fear of quote-unquote danger. At least that's what they were told. That's what they thought was the reality. But it wasn't true. Shoto was taken away and basically trained until his hands more or less fell off. It felt like his body was crumbling. They trained him so hard. They wanted him to be the champion for the Fire Nation, wanted him to be the Avatar, the savior for all the nations, so that the Fire Nation could be led on top, could be on top of everybody. Kirishima, on the other hand, was taken away for a different reason, for actual protection, and frankly, he wanted to go to war. He wanted to help anybody he possibly could, because disputes were a thing. Disputes would still happen even if they lived in harmony. Disputes between the Fire Nation, the Water Nation, the Air Nation, all of this would occur. Kirishima has always had that protective nature to him, so he began training in the Earth Nation's military, trying to get stronger as well. And Katsuki Bakugo, on the other hand, was jealous. was mad that he didn't have the potential to be the Avatar, was frustrated that Izuku Midoriya, someone that he felt he was superior to, is the Avatar, is someone that's going to be blessed with this power that as long as he trains and works semi-hard, he can defeat anybody in all of the nations. This pisses Bakugo off. Bakugo leaves without even saying goodbye, not wanting to even look at Izuku's face. And once again, like every Avatar before, he's alone now, on his own. Avatar Izuku Midoriya will need to scratch and claw his way to the top and to protect everybody via being alone. He goes back to his air temple, speaks with his mother by the name of Inko Midoriya and his father Hisashi Midoriya, who are the top of their academy, or you could say the teachers of the Air Academy. They told Izuku that all would matter now is learning the best he possibly can, going to each nation and learning how to bend everything at his will. Air is something he's very good at already, but it's time to travel further. Time to go and visit the Earth Nation, the Water Nation, or the Fire Nation. It's his choice where he wants to go first, and he decides to avoid Katsuki Bakugo and Shoto Todoroki and go to the Earth Nation. The Earth Nation is full of hardened people that are strong through brute force, but also through technique. They can feel the ground, and it's actually notorious that an airbender struggles in the fact of earthbending. It's been known by many avatars that earthbending is very difficult in terms of training as an airbender going into the field of being an earthbender. Every avatar that was an airbender to start out with would always struggle with this first, but Izuku feels that this struggle doesn't necessarily matter. As long as he can learn earthbending, the other two should be just as easy or easier than the struggle he'll have here. He arrives, and even Kirishima is there waiting for him, and he quickly says hi to his friend Midoriya, but says that he's unfortunately cannot help him out in any sort of way. But the Grand Master is waiting for him. He's heard of his arrival and would like to meet Izuku. So Izuku heads over, and when he arrives, a tall, hulking man is standing in front of him, Toshinori Yagi. Toshinori Yagi, other known as All Might, the person that can shift mountains in one breath, a person that can place his hand on a building and make it crumble, is standing in front of him. Toshinori, in a large, stern voice, greets the boy in and says that he's glad to see Izuku here, and he's heard various good things from Kirishima. But earthbending is not something he'll be able to pick up just in an instant. It won't be that simple. All Might, or Toshinori Yagi, even begins to say that he is concerned. He's concerned that this Fire Nation that is upon them is not like the one of the old. The Fire Nation currently seems to be on edge. The prince seems to be completely MIA, and the king of the Fire Nation, Endeavor, seems to be enraged. What do you mean enraged? Why would he be enraged?
You see, my boy, he wanted his son to be the Avatar. It's really truly simple, don't we all? I would have loved to have the Avatar be deemed in the Earth Nation, but it wasn't, and that is the so-called destiny for you, my boy. It's okay that you were not born here, you were not raised here, but you are now part of this nation now that I know you are the Avatar. Others may not enter, but the Avatar needs to be trained so that he can become the most powerful being in all four nations. The being that can check all of us, make sure that everybody is safe. From the earth, from the air, water, to even the fire.
But you really think I can do that?
Yes, my boy, I do. Anybody that has been deemed the Avatar has the worthiness of my gratitude and has my full undivided respect.
Izuku is shocked to hear this and thanks him for his hospitality, and All Might begins to explain that thanking him isn't good enough, not quite yet. He wants to train him personally. Izuku says that he is totally up for it, and All Might smiles and says that he's glad to hear it. He changes the entire room with one stomp of his foot, and everything begins to just change in an instant, and he begins to explain that his earthbending, or his earthbending like quirk, is far different than everybody else's. His earthbending like quirk is probably going to be very similar to Izuku's, something of pure, unadulterated strength. All Might punches the ground with such strength that spikes begin to occur and appear out of the ground itself, flying at Izuku at insane speeds, but using his airbending, he's able to dodge, weave, and he just doesn't know how to even keep up. All Might spews toward him, saying that he can't use airbending here, that he needs to learn how to dodge and weave through the use of earthbending. Feel it in your core. All Might continues to hit more and more on the ground, and Izuku tries his best to hold his ground without even using airbending. And as one of the spikes comes at him, he stands his ground, gripping his feet into the ground and puts his hands forward ready to block it. He punches his hand toward the stone, but nothing happens. Izuku gets slammed into the wall, and he's out cold.
Oh, I might have overdone that there. My boy, are you okay?
Izuku slightly puts his hand up and gives a thumbs up as it falls back to the ground, and he fully passes out. Luckily, they have some medics on standby. The Earthbending Nation does have some really good medics, but even with that said, All Might knows that this is going to be a struggle. He's heard about the struggles that the Airbenders have as avatars. All Might continues the training for Izuku, continues the hard work that Izuku must go through, and he even introduces him to some various other Earthbenders, anybody he can think of. One by the name of Tenko Shimura. All Might explains that his master was the grandmother to this boy right here, Tenko Shimura. And Tenko replies saying that he's not a boy anymore, that he's practically almost the age of 30. All Might laughs and says that he shouldn't say things like that, because it's gonna make him feel old. You are old, All Might, we've talked about this.
Oh yes, I know, but you know, a man can dream.
Izuku slightly laughs at this, and Tenko walks over to him, explaining his earthbending quirk, that it has a lot to do with, you could say, disintegration. He can reform, though, this disintegration as well, and someone actually has a very similar power in the Earthbending Nation to this too, but unfortunately he's currently occupied and not able to help. So he says that he'll help the best he possibly can. The training with the Avatar then commences. Days, weeks, months pass on, and Izuku isn't making that much progress, but he slowly but surely is getting somewhere. He's able to somewhat control the earth. He can make it shake, but not to the point where he can do what All Might can do. He can't hit the ground or put his hand on a mountain and move it, but even All Might says that everything comes with progress. Everything will slowly but surely come to fruition, and he just needs more training. The Avatar will train here until he's about 15 years old, but during those basically 3 years, the other nations are in tyranny. Well, the Fire Nation was ready to attack. The Fire Nation laid siege to the Water Nation without the Earth Nation even knowing, and the Air Nation did not hear of this news, not until far later. The one by the name of Katsuki Bakugo, limping toward the Air Nation's capital, crawls in and pleads to the person to see Izuku Midoriya. He needs to see the Avatar. But the Avatar is not there. Inko Midoriya and Hisashi Midoriya come out and pick the boy up and put him on the ground, or put him on the stool, and ask him if he's okay, what's going on. And Bakugo begins to explain.
Where's the damn nerd? I need his help.
Why do you need my son's help? What's going on?
Bakugo explains that the Fire Nation, that Shoto and Endeavor have sieged the Water Nation, killing practically everybody in his family and practically everybody in his nation. The Water Nation is now dead, gone. Very few survived, and they're scattered along the other nations or even around the other places that aren't claimed by territory. The Fire Nation is attacking, and everybody needs to be on guard. The Air Nation is assuming that they would be next, getting their defenses ready, and they help recover Bakugo back to full strength. During this time, they begin explaining to Bakugo some things about airbending and other things like that. Yes, they cannot teach him to be the Avatar. You need to be born with that. You need to be born with the quirks, and they need to develop. But using the principles of airbending, maybe Bakugo can learn various other things. Maybe he can learn more about the human body. Maybe he can learn more about bending water that isn't just out in the ocean. He understands what they mean, and the Air Nation is about to be sieged. The Air Nation is going to be under attack. Izuku doesn't hear any news of this until the Fire Nation lays siege to the Air Nation. He hears barely as the fight is going on. He tells All Might and Tenko that he needs to go now. They both agree and say they're going to send some military reinforcements with him and to be safe. Izuku takes his flying bison and a couple other earthbenders, and he explains that it's going to be a bit of a struggle using the earth at the Air Nation because of where it is located, but they should be sort of effective in certain areas. He explains that that's where they will be, and he'll handle everything else if possible. They all agree, and Kirishima puts his hand on his shoulder and says that the Air Nation is strong, that they're not going to fall that easily. Izuku smiles and nods, and as they arrive, everything seems to be burned to ashes. But the fight is still raging on. He sees blasts of fire, air, going everywhere. But not only that, he sees a blast of water. There's a waterbender here? Why is there a waterbender here? Izuku jumps down with a bunch of the earthbenders as well, and he goes dashing toward the fire. He sees various other Fire Nation members attacking the people of the Air Nation. They see Izuku, and Izuku immediately knocks out a couple of them, and they say that in the other place, in the capital, it's Endeavor. Endeavor and Shoto are in the capital. He goes immediately into the capital as Endeavor has his hand through his father's chest, and Shoto is watching, and his mother is on the ground dead. Immediately, Izuku is infuriated. Using his airbending, he blasts Shoto to the wall and tries to blast Endeavor, but his power overwhelms him. Endeavor smirks and blasts Izuku into the wall, and he's slightly burned on his left arm, and he's frustrated. He's not strong enough yet. He tries to use his earthbending, and he begins to form earth around Endeavor, encapsulating him. But this isn't the proper earthbending he should be using. Even All Might has said it. It's very similar to his. He needs to use brute strength, but the air temple, everything he's learned just goes against it. He doesn't know what to do. He tries to encapsulate Endeavor, but he breaks free with ease, and he says that the Avatar doesn't need to die here. He says that he does need the Avatar alive, at least for now. But soon, he'll meet his end, and his son will regain the throne. They all, Shoto and Endeavor, begin to leave, and Izuku doesn't know what to do. He runs over to his parents, and he tries to see any sense of light, feeling that his father still has a pulse, but nothing can be done. And someone then runs in, and it's Bakugo. Bakugo sees the two people that have been helping him, that he just warned, that actually showed him how to expand his waterbending on the ground, dead as well, and he doesn't know what to say. He begins to tear up, looking at Izuku and thinking everything he said, everything he thought about him.
He thought this kid was useless, was this, was that, and that he didn't deserve it. But Bakugo, he feels like he didn't deserve it either. He watched them die. He watched them. He goes to attack Endeavor and Shoto, but as they're leaving, but Izuku stops him. We can't win right now. It hurts. Trust me, I know the most. These are my parents. But we can't win. Not right now. We have to get stronger. Bakugo stops, and Bakugo looks at him and says that they can get stronger, that he knows a way. He'll master earthbending, then he'll take him to one of the grandmasters of waterbending. Then they're gonna pile drive the Fire Nation into the ground. He smiles and smirks. Izuku's smile looks forced, but he recounts, saying that his parents would want him to smile in a scenario like this. Smile at the face of adversity. One of his own friends, comrades that he saw as a brother, has turned on him. And he wants the throne, and he'll make sure that Shoto Todoroki and Endeavor suffer at the hands of the Avatar, and that he brings peace back to the valley. Kirishima runs in to see the aftermath, and he even gets teary-eyed at the sight of the two people that raised Izuku on the ground, dead. But he says the same thing that Bakugo was saying, that it's time to step up. It's not time to sob and get rid of their he's not saying to get rid of their emotions, but it's time for them to become men, to become strong. The Avatar is supposed to be the strongest in all of the lands, and let's make sure he becomes that. They'll go back to the Earth Nation, make sure that the Earth Nation fortifies their defenses as much as they possibly can, and then after Izuku's training is done there, they'll find the Water Nation's people. Anybody that's left over, they'll make a small refugee, and Izuku will train there. And then they'll find someone in the Fire Nation that doesn't agree with their efforts, and he'll be taught fire. He will be taught the art of firebending, and he'll use firebending to even take down the nation that tried to murder and kill everybody in his own. They all three nod at each other, and they look for any survivors they possibly can, finding that a lot of them did survive. Luckily, Bakugo was able to warn them and to slow down the offensive. But one nation, two nations, 3, 4, all of them that were in pure harmony, well, went away just like that. Harmony is only good when somebody doesn't have uncapped power. When people are jealous, when people are mad, when people are furious at the fact that they feel rejected by the power that they should have had, it makes people do dangerous things. And we've seen it here. The Fire Nation's numbers were growing more and more, even outnumbering the other nations, at least individually. But Izuku looks at the other two of them and says that it's now time for their harmony. The 3 nations that are left outside the Fire Nation will team up. Kirishima slams his hands into his other hand and says that he agrees. The Earth Nation will take on the front lines. Bakugo says the Water Nation will be the support, and the Air Nation will take to the skies. And they will make sure that the Fire Nation goes down in a blaze of glory. With that said, that is a wrap for What If Deku Was The Avatar Part 1. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, sub, and comment down below. Any suggestions for this series as well. If you want to see characters from the actual Avatar series come in, if you want to see certain characters from my hero being in certain nations, let me know as well. I haven't planned this entirely ahead. I only planned this first episode, so this is completely open to interpretation for all y'all to say if you want a certain character here or there. I have some ideas. I'm not going to spoil them now, but I do have some ideas, but nothing crazy. But like I said, if you have suggestions, leave them below. And if you enjoyed, leave a like, sub, and comment down below any other suggestions. And yeah, have an amazing day, y'all. Later.